Hey, it's Philip here. You're welcome to today's Digital Spark. Today I'm going to show you how you can set up a Claude project. Now this is so important because if you're using Claude and you're just sticking with the chat function, you'll be very frustrated because you will realize that Claude never remembers anything about you or your business with all of these chats. You're constantly having to tell it about who you are, what your goals are, etc. And the way to stop this is to set up a project. Essentially, a project is a folder where you can have all the chats around a very specific topic, whether it be strategy, SEO, content marketing, etc. So I'm going to show you now how you set up a Claude project, and you will instantly see why this is crucial when you're using Claude for your business. So let's jump over. Okay, so I'm over here in Claude, and this is what a lot of business owners may do when they're using Claude. They literally will just go into chat and start to ask it questions. Now, at very minimum, I'd always suggest that you use a prompting framework, something like my Signal prompting framework that you can find up on my AI resources page on philiptwyford.com, so that at least when you're chatting, you're going to get a prompt that's really of the highest quality possible back. But the problem is that if you're just coming in here and chatting about maybe strategy or business growth or customer personas or whatever it might be, the problem is that these chats aren't related, they're not linked. So you're constantly having to give Claude, like any of the LLMs, context about who you are, your business, your brand, your goals. So as I mentioned, the way to get around this, and best practice really, is to set up what is known as a project. So the way to set up a project is you come over here to the left and click on projects. And obviously when you've created projects, you will see all the projects that you've created. So I've created a number of different projects that I use within my consultancy. And very simply, all you have to do is you just click on the new project tab, and then you name your project and you describe, I suppose, what you're trying to achieve from the project. Okay, so here's a project that I created. It's called my Content Marketing Strategist project. And essentially what's great about this project is that all of my chats which are related to content marketing across social media or content strategy, I house within here. So Claude is able to remember and pull from chats that we've had on previous conversations. But what makes this project and projects really, really useful for your business is the fact that you can do a couple of different things. The first thing is you can give it very tight instructions. So I've given Claude project instructions around what this project is. So I've told it about who I am and what I want it to actually do, its role in this project. I've also told it about me. I've told it about my target audience. And I've also put in here, which I'll talk about in a later video, skills that I've created that this project actually can pull from. But essentially these instructions are like the Bible that Claude follows when it's creating responses and prompt outputs for me within each of these chats. Another very important thing that I've done, which once again I have found to be hugely beneficial, that I would recommend you do, is I created a brand voice document around who I am, what I stand for, my tone of voice, my voice in practice, who my audience is, my service and my positioning, a whole deep dive on what I stand for and how I like to write content and how I want content to sound when it's coming from me. So once again, I've uploaded that. So now within this project, when I'm prompting, looking for a strategic kind of guidance or tips or an idea, it comes back to me knowing full well about who I am, what I'm trying to achieve, who my audience is, but also how I like to speak, especially if I'm asking to write content. So this is really important, and I think you'll start to see that if you start to set up projects for the various areas of your business where you think you'll be going in and out and chatting regularly, and you give detailed instructions based on your business requirements and also your brand voice, you will find that the output you get from chats will be exponentially vastly better and vastly improved than what you're seeing in just standard chat. And as I mentioned, Claude will be remembering everything that we've discussed, so it has constant context to pull from. So that's how you set up a Claude project. Start doing that for yourselves today. So Claude projects are absolutely fantastic and definitely a must to do if you are using Claude. Now, another great advantage as well is that if you do a lot of work on your mobile, which more than likely if you're a business owner you do, if you have your Claude app downloaded, you can access all of your projects on the mobile as well. So this is fantastic. If you were getting ready to prepare and you've parked up, maybe you're going into a meeting and you've arrived early and you just want to brainstorm very quickly within a project around maybe content marketing or strategy, you can do so right within the mobile app and then continue on that particular chat when you get back to the office. So if you like this Digital Spark, you can catch all of my other Digital Sparks. They're all up there on my website, philiptwyford.com, and I will be back with some more tips and tools for you and your business very soon. So until then, take care.